In this video, I'm going to talk about do this to get your account back. If you ever got your account, maybe it's on Depop, eBay, Poshmark, Mercari, whatever. Now, obviously I've had a few marketplace accounts, and obviously outside of being sloppy, maybe you've gotten way too many shipping, too many orders, and you can't cope. Or outside of that, outside of just replying to customers late, if you're just doing it by yourself and it's picking up, you might need someone else. Okay, so maybe a virtual assistant. I have a team of virtual assistants on and if I wanted 6 virtual assistants today, I could get them, train them. So I currently have 2 that work for me, and I train them, to my taste of how I work. And other than taking product photography, and the business can pretty much run without me. If I get to a point where we can just have someone full time, taking the photography, listing, all that stuff can just be completely outsourced. I have a system in place, good to go. Now, the number one reason why people get their account suspended is, number one, maybe poor customer service, or maybe you've been overwhelmed with the amount of work, you've been sloppy, They'll give you a few warnings, all that kind of stuff, okay? Now, the second one is selling fake items. Sometimes I know you might be, oh my gosh, I just picked up this particular brand. Websites like eBay, Depop, all those big platforms, they all have a brand to protect, so they're not gonna risk people selling fake, and then the brand will come after them and then get sued. So make sure you read the terms and conditions. I've read Depop's, eBay's terms and conditions religiously, almost every other month, if not every other week even. If you are going to sell like designer items, the best way not to get your account suspended is to stay away from all the high-end designer products. Because if you get caught selling high-end designer products and they ask you for a receipt and you can't produce that receipt, whether you picked it up in the flea market. I had this happen with a bag I picked up from the flea market. When I lost an account, I was doing pretty well, so I learned, you live and learn. So ignorance is not, I didn't know, I should have known, is not an excuse. You have to do your due diligence, and sometimes you're just gonna have to stay in the groups, Facebook groups and all those groups, to just keep an eye on what brand people are, why people are getting suspended. But there was another reason I saw a guy was cross-listing with a cross-listing app. She was cross-listing an item. The cross-listing app cross-listed some product, like say phones, laptops, I don't know what it is, that's not allowed on our platform. So if you're using cross-listing app, just make sure you do your due diligence. Currently I only list certain products on Depop and certain products on eBay. I mean, I have a lot of designer stuff, so I don't know. But the only thing is, when you do sell high-end products, your margin is a lot higher. Also, do you take the risk of selling high-end designer items? If you got a receipt from a reputable supplier, fine. Sometimes they can do stuff with fake, and eBay will give you a warning. They'll give you a slap on the wrist and say you got a Vero. A Vero just stands for verified right of ownership. The brands that we sell, we actually don't have right to sell them. It's just that they're second hand. But if you want to sell a brand new, if you have too many brand new Levi's, for example, you might get your account taken down. If you have too many brand new Nike, because now you're trying to compete with Nike, sell a brand new, unless you're a verified seller that's authorized to sell their product. Now, if you happen to fall into that predicament where your account got suspended, for Depop, this is what you have to do. If it's about fake items, okay, if it's outside of maybe trying to get a customer to pay outside of the ecosystem, which I wouldn't recommend. Sometimes I know customers will try and push, but I wouldn't recommend it, because they spent money and resources to be in the platform, so they wouldn't want, it's just sometimes you have to pay the goose that laid the golden egg. Just like you have to pay taxes, and you have to pay for everything that keeps everything going. Now, do this if you get your account suspended, okay? If it's on Depop, you'd have to craft an email and say, hi, my name is so-and-so and so. I see that you said I violated so-and-so policy. So in this case, if it's a fake item, let's say it's a guest handbag, for example, you need to have a receipt, otherwise this is not gonna work. You can say, because this happened as well, I had a Calvin Klein belt. Original, I sent them the stitching. They came back apologizing, but I wouldn't have had the experience if I didn't know from the first hand. So I sent them the receipt from a supplier for all my stock. It just has to be a generic receipt. Maybe you buy stock in bulk. Now, if you don't have a supplier, go get a receipt. I don't know. Go get a receipt somewhere, you know. And then you need to send stitching, you know. And obviously do yourself a favor by educating yourself on how fake looks. For example, if you look at Ralph Lauren polos, for example, some of the polos have serial number on the tag, on the label, so you can check the label. You can just type in YouTube real, fake, whatever, blah blah blah, and that would tell you what's real and what's not real, you know. There's other reasons why your account could get suspended as well. I mean, on eBay, for example, if you're selling expired item. Other than that, you know, you just gotta play by the rule, really. I mean, all these other case for having your own website. Probably, if you do promoted listing on any of these platforms and you're paying for promoted listing, you know, it's not gonna be free anyway, so you have to pay for it. So my advice is set up a Shopify store, especially if you've got like more than 2,000 items and you've got great items. Set up a Shopify store and just set up a Google ad campaign, a Facebook ad campaign. You can start with $5 a day and build your own customer list, you know, and then roll from there. So again, to recap, if you get your account suspended, craft the email, state the reason why this is not fake, state the reason, give evidence. So you want to give absolutely detailed evidence or as much information. So, and as you're sending the email, you include the invoice, you include the stitching, you include the picture to show that it's real, for example. That's it. But if you ever got an email that looks like this,